Hello everybody, this is Chaos with Chaos Esports Productions, bringing you the Eternal Dreamers in-house tournament, where we play best of ones all the way to see who is the best of the best here at Eternal Dreamers. Spawning in the upper left-hand corner on Besher Vestige Ladder Edition. It is Eternal Dreamers Carrots. And spawning in the lower right-hand corner in the turquoise trunks, it is Eternal Dreamers Whiteout. So, we have a PvZ on Belshir Vestige. We'll have to take a look and see what is up. We do have a pylon in the main base, so it looks like Whiteout is going to be going for probably a Gateway Expand type build. PvZ on this map is actually, in my opinion, very favoritive of the Protoss player when it gets into kind of the mid to late game. Taking your third base is actually fairly easy, just because you kind of have this one central area where you can kind of move back and forth, defend both your third and your natural fairly easily. The only downside to this map in the early game is this very, very large passageway that goes straight into your natural. Obviously, you don't really get that much of a defender's advantage as far as vision goes, because you're not dealing with a very big ramp. You just basically have this flat, wide open space where lots of units can get in. So we'll have to see how that comes into play here later in this game. We do have a spawning pool going down first for Carrot. I think, in my opinion, I prefer going for the spawning pool first. It gives you the potential to do, obviously, a lot of harassment up front, but it also denies any type of cannon rush or things you might deal with a Forge Fast Expand build. So, a little bit of a harassment here by Whiteout. Definitely doing a fairly decent job, but not good enough. We've got a fairly quick pool out of Carrots, so Whiteout's definitely not going to be too happy about that. Gateway is already up with the first zealot on the way, which actually is kind of interesting. He's come in here. Let's see. He's got a pretty decent scout. He sees that there are no gas, so he's probably expecting a fairly quick third base. Usually at this point you would see the first gas go down for speed. That's the way that I tend to play, but by having very late gas. Very, very odd. So it looks like Whiteout is going to send his probe down to the third, keep tabs on when that third base exactly is going to be going down. Now, I am very curious that a Stalker is actually being warped out as well. So it looks like he's going to try, Whiteout's going to try and deny what is, what's supposed to be the third. And actually, Carrot's definitely going to see the Zealot moving out. So he's going to be very, very curious as to what's going on. This Queen is getting into a decent position, so he's probably shouldn't have to deal with too terribly much. And actually, Carrot does also see the Stalker coming out, so he knows that a little bit of aggression could be on its way. Now, we do have Warp Gate being chrono boosted out. Very interested to see whether or not he's going to throw down a handful of gateways. Ooh, and this Queen gets out of position a little bit off of the creep. Drone's coming in to help out with this, and he's going to be very, very careful about losing that Queen. Getting off the creep once again. It's definitely going to be very, very difficult for him to keep that Queen alive. I probably would have liked to have seen him come back and do an inject just before it died. At least that gives him the extra larva that he might need later on here, as this aggression is doing a fair amount of damage. We do already have 7 kills already, most of those being drones. That's a significant amount of losses up front, and wow, those units were definitely very, very cost effective. And actually the Stalker might even get away, because Stalkers are just a hair bit quicker than Lings off of creep, and since speed is not there yet, yeah, that Stalker might just live to see another day, which is very, very fascinating. So wow, a very, very good trade for Whiteout here in the beginning of this game, and it looks like Whiteout is actually already set up to do an assault on the third base if necessary. Stalker's doing a little bit of micro to try and get around and hopefully not die. But the Stalker will ultimately get picked up in the end, unfortunately. So now with the sentry out, this wall is more or less secure, and Carrot is just going to be looking to take his relatively early third, as was mentioned before. So, basically, as a function of that early game, I would say that Carrot's definitely a little bit on the behind side, depending on how long Whiteout takes to do any type of assault on this third. Obviously, will depend on what happens. Now, it does look like Whiteout has spotted the third, so interesting. Planting a pylon in the back. Now, personally, I guess Carrot really hasn't seen that pylon, so he doesn't really know that anything's bad is coming his way. Obviously, these warp gates are being chrono boosted to get some units out over here at the third to hopefully deny this third. I'm surprised these lings are actually just chilling out over here and not paying attention to what the heck's going on. The cannons are just outside of Whiteout's range, and he's going to be very, very disappointed when that hatchery finishes and he sees all those cannons just chilling out right up there. He's like, ah, crap. So, a lot of sentries and zealots being warped in here closer, and yeah, this hatchery's going down. It doesn't really matter about these lings at this point. I'm just gonna poke at, and we'll have to see how Carrot defends this. A lot of those units are actually out of position. He's gonna be able to easily force field them out. Only one to get a timeout here, and actually, with the drone pull, I think he's in a halfway decent spot. Obviously, these sentries are going to go to town on these links. And I'll be very curious to see whether or not we see a warp in here, or if he's just going to wait for this pylon to get done. But yeah, that got cleaned up fairly well. You know, looking at the units lost tab, it's still definitely in favor of the Protoss player. He's doing a very, very good job of keeping things, keeping the Zerg player on his toes. And I guess these zealots like to want to sacrifice themselves to the Ling gods. So, yeah. So the only thing that's really denying Whiteout right now is this this Overlord chilling out at the third, crapping out some poo onto the ground. Because nobody likes them poo. Go ahead and get the production tab. So we do have a wow, the whole gambit of tech coming out. Stargate, Twilight Council, and Robotics Facility all at the same time. Which is actually kind of a very curious move. I'll be interested to see... Okay, so he is choosing to go for Phoenixes, which I guess makes sense because I would say that mutas are the best follow-up for what's going on. As far as scouting, though, he's definitely doing that very, very blindly. He hasn't gotten any indication that there is a Spire out, or, you know, I guess he may just know Carrot's playstyle well enough to say, I foresee a Spire coming in my future. Really surprised cannons aren't being put up, or at least a pylon to at least have the potential for that defense. But looks like Whiteout is planning on just going ahead and taking a third. Now this Ling run by actually, depending on what happens, might be able to get in here just in time. And actually, all of these Lings are going into the natural, and this natural is going to be absolutely ravaged. So about half of them are being left in the natural to clean up the natural, and the rest of them are going into the main. And wow, this is going to do a significant amount of damage and definitely swing things back. Back in the favor of the Zerg player. As you can see, the units lost tab is a lot more even. So definitely a very, very cost-effective Ling run by, and actually we baited out a photon overcharge, which is actually kind of a big deal. And actually that gas going down is kind of a little bit of a big deal, because obviously hindering gas income's never always a good thing. And now that the mutas that are out on the field, I'm not sure if Whiteout's going to have enough to defend this. I mean, there's only 7 mutas. The mutas are going to come in here and actually take out a lot of those buildings for free. Definitely really, really good little counterattack. But with these Phoenixes out, these mutas will actually more or less get cleaned up. Phoenixes are very, very, very good. Mutas. And wow. Things are definitely looking very, very much in favor of Whiteout. Obviously, you have the supply differential of about 30 right now, so things are definitely looking very, very much in favor of him. And actually, with all these Phoenixes out, there's really not much that Whiteout can do. Obviously, he is doing the transition over to his Hydra Den. which is going to obviously be the appropriate counter for the Phoenixes. But what he is not aware of is that the Robo Bay is already out and Colossus production has begun. So it looks like Carrot's just going to be coming in here, doing a little bit of damage, trying to pick off a couple of those links. Maybe got a couple, but overall there's just really too many units here right now for Whiteout. So Carrot's basically just going to have to sit by and a lot of those links coming in, and actually some pretty decent force fields. Actually, a really nice surround of those force fields, and a lot of those sentries are more or less safe. So definitely some very good micro there. Phoenixes are coming in to pick up some of these drones, and the Zealots are just going to town on these links, and I don't know that there's much that Carrot can do. I mean, he's back on 2 bases. Obviously, he doesn't have the production that he really needs with a 3rd and 4th base. That's an interesting call to recall. Why did he... I have no idea why he recalled, but yeah, I guess he just wanted to go back home, sit down, watch some TV, and enjoy the circus while the Colossus catch up. And now I think, honestly, I think Whiteout just really needs to a move over to his opponent and just kind of take the game, because at this point, Carrot just hasn't had enough production. I mean, yeah, he's got 14 Hydralisks coming out, but they're really not going to be what's needed in order to deal with these Colossus. I mean, 2 Colossus are already out on the field, and a 3rd is on its way, so it's definitely going to be very difficult for Carrot to come back. And now with these Phoenix picking off some of these Hydralisks one by one here at the natural, it's definitely going to be a lot more difficult for Carrot to come back from this. I mean, this is what, only 10 Hydralisks out, so things are definitely looking not so good. I'm really surprised that Whiteout isn't focusing a little bit more on his main army, because he should recognize that his main army can more or less just a-move across all over this army. So we'll have to see what he's got up to see. +3 on its way. It's about 1/3 of the way done. It's definitely going to be very helpful. And actually, I did not realize that these pylons were just chilling out over here. So this, yeah. And Carrot's going to call GG, and that is going to be the end of this. I think this is a round of 8 match. So we will go ahead and get into the next game relatively soon.